All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody is doing well today, this beautiful Tuesday morning. So, as always, let's turn off all distractions. Grab a pen and paper. Let's take lots of notes. And let's make sure that we participate and engage. All right. So let's get to it, man. Let me get everybody access to the microphones and let's rock and roll. Got quite a bit to cover today. And we'll take a look at those pairs that we covered over the weekend and see how those pan out. Benny has been active in the Discord with updates, so we'll see how everything went. So real quick, if you can hear me okay, drop me one in the chat. Perfect, appreciate it. All right, let me check one more thing. Let's slide over to trading economics. Cool, appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. And all right, perfect. So appreciate it, Jimmy. All right, so China imports unexpectedly rise. Imports to China unexpectedly rose 3% year on year in October, beating forecast of 4.8%. 4.8% fall, and marking the first increase in February amid signs of stockpiling and following efforts from Beijing to stimulate domestic demand. Oh, can't see my screen. 1 second. My bad. Thank you. Boom. Now, no, maybe not. Hold on. Let's do stop. And let's try this again. Boom. Now you should be good. Why are we pausing? Hold on 1 second. Something is happening. So here. 1 second, everybody. For some reason it can't. I'm not able to share my screen here. Right now. What is up? 1 second, everybody. I'm not sure what's happening with my screen. Zoom won't allow me to share it. All right, let's try it this way. All right, cool. There we go. Now you guys should be able to see me. Imports in China unexpectedly rise. Meanwhile, exports fell 6.4%, the sixth straight month of a drop, and worse than expected, or exports fell. Worse than expectation of 3.3% decline amid deteriorating demand from abroad due to persistent cost pressures. So that's where we are from China. This was the bigger news last night. Australian cash rate. Reserve Bank of Australia raised its cash rate by 25 basis points to 4.35 in November, after maintaining it at 4.1 in the prior meetings. in line with the market expectations. So that's what was expected, not a surprise. So it didn't really have a major impact on the Aussies pushed in a direction, but the overall sentiment was they'll continue to be data dependent and make decisions as data says. But it marked the 13th rate rise since May 2022, as inflation proved more persistent than expected a few months ago due to a further rise in prices of services. CPI inflation is now projected to be around 3.5% by the end of 2024, at the top of the target range of 2 to 3% by the end of 2025. New Governor Michelle Bullock said in a statement that whether further tightening is needed to bring inflation returns to the target in a reasonable time frame will depend upon the data and the evolving assessment of risk. So everything is data dependent. So nothing surprised the market, right? It was what the market expected. So we saw those Aussies retrace, right? So that was the news there coming out of Australia. Then we had Eurozone producer prices fall at a record pace out of the Eurozone. And the UK housing prices continue to fall in October. The other thing I want us to keep our eyes on, and then I'll go to the calendar. WeWork, large company. They filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Something to keep our eyes on the corporate side and on the banking side is there's still some issues looming on the back end. So WeWork filed for bankruptcy. As interest rates continue to rise or stay higher for longer, we could start to see more issues where organizations cannot continue to function in the way that they previously have. So we'll continue to monitor WeWork, see how that impacts the market when the market opens today. But WeWork, one organization, I'll send this, I'll post this into the Discord so you guys can take a look at it. But something to keep in the back of our minds as we move through this week. Also on the banking side of things, there's still a lot of banks that have bonds that are underwater. It's not being talked about a lot in the mainstream, but banks are some of the largest holders of those bonds that are no longer valuable. They still have them on their balance sheet. So as we continue to move through the end of the year, beginning of next year, into the middle of next year, the banking sector is going to be an interesting scenario to watch, along with corporate real estate. So those are areas that you guys might want to start researching and keep your eyes on as things continue to move. We could still see some pain from that side of things as the Fed continues to hold rates where they are. All right. So that's my little spiel there. Let me move to this week. And update. All right. So for this week on the calendar, yesterday we had construction PMI for the pound. This was the big news yesterday, right? And the cash rate that we just discussed came in line with expectation of the 0.25% increase. We also had average earnings come out of Japan, which is above expectation. I sent the article yesterday in the Discord also discussing Japan, and some of the largest corporate leaders are pushing for an increase of their average pay to be above 4%. And that plays into the Bank of Japan's plan that as household earnings increase, then they'll be able to shift their monetary policy. So as those talks continue to heat up, they move into their wage negotiations into this year, beginning of next year. As we've been talking about, we'll start to see some shifts coming out of Japan. So also keep that in the back of your mind as we continue to move through the charts. Today we have inflation expectations at 9 o'clock for the New Zealand dollar. We have FOMC members coming to the microphone as well throughout the day today. Some on the microphone as early as 7:30. Then coming down to tomorrow, Governor Bailey speaks at 4:30 a.m. Chairman Powell speaks at 9:15. CPI data for China at 8:30 on Thursday. Unemployment claims for the United States. Fed Chair Powell speaks again, and then we have monetary policy statement. The notes from the meeting for the Aussie coming out at 7:30 on Thursday evening, and then pound GDP month over month on a Friday. And President Lagarde speaks at 7:30 a.m. on Friday, and U of M consumer sentiment on Friday as well. So a lot of members coming to the microphone to speak. So we'll watch those and hear what they have to say when it comes to the economy, inflation, and all of those things. So do you guys have anything from a fundamental perspective that you have your eyes on or you want to chat about? No. No. All right. All right, cool deal. So let's dive into the charts. I want to do an update on the pairs that we set out on Saturday. See where those are, calculate some pips, and then we will take a look at other pairs that might be set up for us. So starting with the Aussie Swiss. Aussie Swiss, we looked at it from multiple perspectives, right? We had a double bottom price pushing to the upside in a very strong way. We're getting this pullback now, right? We're getting this pullback. This is a larger move on the daily time frame, 80-20 scenario, double bottom in that 118-127 zone, pushing to the upside out of the zone. Now we're pulling back. We'll come down to the 4, right? And on the 4, we did have, right, this move to the upside. Was a deeper retracement in the zone here, right? Pushed through. This was an 80-20 on the 4 that we mapped out to the upside in previous weeks, right? Through October, the end of October to the upside through TP2. Now we're getting a pullback, all right? Coming down to the 1, this was the 80-20 that we mapped out on Saturday. And here we are, boom, price moving to the downside, right? So this one, we are up 77 pips, right? TP1 is just a few pips away at 81 pips to the downside there, right? So that one played out, or is playing out in our favor in a beautiful way, all right? In a beautiful way. So continue to manage your trades there, right? If you have it, move that stop loss and a profit. Take as we approach TP1, and then you can determine if you will close the trade completely or just take some off the table and see if we get a TP2 push on that. That'll be up to you on how you manage, but that is the Aussie Swiss. Any questions there?
What does your daily look like?
On the daily, yeah, we have an 80-20 on the daily. Oops, hold on one second. All right, back to the daily. We got an 80-20 here. Larger move.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah. Did you run a fib off the? You wouldn't have an AB boundary there just yet. So
My charts updated, so all my stuff was erased,
I
and
got you
I didn't remember why I was in this chef in the long.
to the upside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got you. Yep. So that's the longer term swing there, right, to the upside. But this was the other move here, the 80-20 to the upside here on the 4 that played out the TP2. So you might have still been sitting in that one to the upside there, off of that move. Cool. What's happening here? Okay, cool deal. All right. So that's the Aussie Swissy. And next is the Aussie Yen. The Aussie Yen. Benny, good morning, bro.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Ryan? Feeling
I'm
better?
doing what? Yes, sir. Feeling a lot better, man. Appreciate it. How are you?
Good. Doing pretty good, man. Can't complain.
Good, good, good. Anything on your mind from a fundamental perspective?
Not too much, man. Just reading, getting caught all up on the from last night and the Aussie rate decision. See, they raised
Yeah.
rates. So that was the big news. That was pretty much it.
Yep, man. Left everything data dependent.
Yes, yes, in regards to the forward guidance. So kind of falling in line with everybody else.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. Cool deal, man. We had some beautiful moves to start the week. Set us up in a beautiful way.
We
So
did, man. Preparation is everything.
preparation is everything, man. So we appreciate your analysis over the weekend, dude.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. All right. So to this Aussie yen, we know overall, right? We've been in this move for a while, 50% retracement, pushed back to the upside here, but we weren't able to break above this monthly resistance level. We came into that level, and you see the push back down to the downside, right? Push down to the downside there. We come down to the 4, and here's our 80-20 scenario, right? We said watch for a push up into that zone, 118 to 127 zone, and then look for the move back down. And we got it, right? So this 80-20 on the 4-hour is in motion, right? We're sitting at a 236 retracement level right now with a little bit more to go to get to that TP2 level. My entry was a little bit late there, but off that entry, another 73 pips to the downside. With a little bit more to go, right? TP1 is 103 pips. So another 30 pips or so to go to the downside to get us to that TP1 level. And that's on the 4-hour time frame, right? So there's an 80-20 there. We come into the 1, and on the 1, it was just a fresh AB boundary, right? So there's that move to the downside there. This is an old markup from the previous 80-20 that did not play out. And there we go, right? So we broke back below. This was a daily level. I actually take that out of the lower time frames. Should be there. There we go. So now we're moving to the downside here. We'll continue to monitor as price moves. We could definitely see a pullback at some point. So we'll stay aware of that. But also here on the daily time frame, evening star pattern. Push up, decision, indecision, decision, right? So moving down to the downside, we'll see how deep this retracement comes, see if we continue to move back down to the bottom of this range at 93.59. That's yet to be seen. But this was the 80-20 move out of Saturday, moving in our favor. Scale on the dollar CAD, close out this morning. Great work, and great work. We'll take a look at that dollar CAD in a minute. Drive some sevens there, though. Great work on the dollar CAD move for 150 pips. Love it, love it, love it. Any questions on this Aussie yen?
Nope.
Nope, nope. Cool deal. Sweet. Then was the Aussie Swiss. Go to the euros. Ba, 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 ba. Euro Aussie. And right, came into this previous level of daily support, right? Price held at that level, looking for a pullback here. And then we'll see what happens if we continue to ride to the upside or if we get a push back down to the downside. But price held at this 164,453 level. Coming down to the 4, right? This was a larger move. That was 80-20 to the downside there that played out. And now we're kind of range bound a bit, pushing back to the upside here, right? So what is this upside push? Well, that's the 80-20, right? Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, push to the upside, right? We got to push up, and being said, watch for the pullback back into the zone, right? And we got that. We got the move to the upside through TP2. So this was the other move that was mapped out over the weekend. Pushed down into that 118, 127 zone again, gave us a double bottom scenario there, just shy of that daily support. And we got the rise. So to the upside there, that's 205 pips. Boom. Right? So off of those 3 pairs, that's 355 pips. And we're just at Tuesday. All right. So beautiful scenario there to the upside. Now we'll watch and see what transpires. See if we get a pullback and a continuation to the upside there. Okay. Questions on the Euro Aussie? No? Pips pay the bills. Yep. Right. So TP1 level was 130. Okay. So beautiful scenario there. Cool deal. No questions on the Euro Aussie. Let's take a look at the Euros. We'll see, just get an update on where that one is. And this one, so this one missed the mark a bit. Didn't push fully into that zone, but we had a double bottom here, just shy of that monthly support level, and price has been pushing to the upside in a very, very strong way there, right? Coming off these low levels. Coming to the 4, right? Here is where we had a previous 80-20, right? Shallow retracement just with that 118 level. We just shy of that 118 level, and we got the push to the upside, right? And price just ran on us. So now coming down to the 1, we're looking at potential 80-20 scenario here if we got price to push into this 118, 127 zone. Well, we didn't quite get it, and price is breaking down and pulling back, right? So it's headed to TP1. So this one didn't meet our criteria. So this one was not in the mix. But we're getting a pullback, and we'll see if we get a low price to potentially get long. And get an opportunity to get back long there on this Euro Swissy. All right. So we'll watch that one and see as price moves down to see if we have an 80-20 scenario form as we get into those deep retracement zones there. All right. Joyce said missed it, but got on a retest. Beautiful. Great work, right? Great work. Continue to watch it and find the opportunity to get in the moves. I love it. I love it. So that one didn't play out, didn't push into our zone, so we didn't take that trade there. All right. So we'll watch that one to see what happens as price moves down. Euro NZD, however, we'll map this one from the top to the bottom, and then we'll talk about it. So overall, We did get a 382 here on the daily already, but we're still looking at this to potentially continue moving to the downside. We had a retest of that monthly resistance level. Price broke down, right? We had a level of support here, right? We had a level of support right there. We broke that level, came back to retest that level. So now we'll see what transpires to see if we get price to turn back over and continue pushing to the downside. Okay, so that's that level. That's the retest of that level. Coming down to the 4, here was the 80-20 move on the 4 the last week, right? Beautiful 80-20 scenario, boom, breakdown through TP2, right? So now we got a retracement here, right? Strong move back up, like I said, retesting previous support levels there, and we'll see what happens right here, see if we get an evening star pattern to form, if we get price to push down to the downside there. So we'll watch that on the 4. Coming down to the 1, excuse me, you had a, take these out, you had a fresh AB boundary and a push to the upside, okay? Beautiful retracement, back up deep into the zone there on the 1 hour time frame, an 8-6 retracement on the 1. But the move out of the weekend on this Euro NZD was here on the 5-minute chart. Right here. All right. Here on the 5-minute chart. 80-20 scenario. Right? Whoops. I don't know why that's so slim, but boom. Maybe. That's our TP2 zone. Right? This one I'm not sure. Reset. There we go. All right. But here we are, right? 80-20 on the 5-minute. Boom. Shallow retracement, 118-127 zone. Right? Just with that 118 zone, boom, push to the upside. Right? And we ended up taking out the A there. All right. So on this move to TP1, that was 92 pips. Right? If you held that to TP2, that was 133 pips. If you held that all the way to the upside, that would have been 205. Right? So if we just take TP1 there, that puts us at a total of 444 pips on a Tuesday. Right? But this was a beautiful move on the 5-minute time frame, 80-20 scenario. Right now, we're looking for price to turn over, and we'll see if we get a continuation back down to the downside on this pair. Okay, so we'll continue to monitor things there from a higher time frame perspective. Also here on the 5, right? If you were tracking this, I hit snooze on my alarm this morning. So I missed this double top here in this 118-127 zone, right? Shallow retracement, 80-20 scenario, and prices breaking back down to the downside off of that higher time frame retest. So they're there. They're there. I don't know if anybody was able to catch this move here on this reversal, but that also happened on the 5-minute time frame. Okay, so questions on the Euro NZD? No. All right, cool deal. Next up, and Aussie. We'll go to wake up early London session, getting a lower time frame moves. Yeah, the price definitely moves early. If you're able to add that into your schedule, right? It'd be a cool opportunity to trade during that time. Coming down, so pound Aussie on the daily time frame, right? Came back to this daily support level, and we pushed off back to the upside. Okay, you see the trend, right? All of the Aussies pulling back. Okay, so pushing back to the upside here on the daily time frame. Coming down to the 4, right? This was a larger, longer term move, deep retracement, not an 80-20, but 618 pushed down to the downside, and then we had strong move back up, right? Strong retracement here on the 4. Okay. So coming down to the 1, right? You see we're just bouncing back and forth here on the 1 hour time frame, right? Not a lot doing there. But as we come down to the 30, here was the opportunity on that retracement. All right. Move those out of the way. Boom. 80-20. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Boom. Breakout to the upside, right? And all of this, right, all coincides with, right, fundamental data giving us a catalyst to continue moving in that direction, right? So out of that 118 and 127 zone, 246 pips to the high. If we took that just back to the TP1 level, right, that's 130. And if we took it to TP2, that was 185, right? So plus 130, it's 577. All right. Yeah. So that's the pound Aussie. Move back to the other side. Reset and wake up every day at 2 a.m. Don't even have to set your alarm anymore. There you go, man. Right? Habits. Creating the habit, and then your body takes over. It's possible, man. It's possible if that's something that you desire to do. Right? One step at a time. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, so that's the pound Aussie. Beautiful move to the upside. Now we'll look to see what happens as the day progresses, as the week progresses, right? Fresh AV boundary here. Are we able to push, retest this monthly level into the 118, 127 zone, right? So do we get this scenario to play out here and give us an opportunity to get back short? Excuse me. For an 80-20 back down to the downside. Right, so we'll watch this on a 30-minute time frame to see if we get this type of action here. All right. Questions on the pound Aussie? Joy's been up since 2:30. I love it, man. Early bird gets the worm. I love it, man. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Everybody's up early. I got to get to bed a little bit early in order to make that happen. Cool deal. No questions. Teamwork makes a dream work. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Any questions on this pound Aussie? No? All right. Cool deal. Then we had pound Swissy and dollar CAD. Pound Swissy, right? There was an 80-20 scenario on the 30-minute time frame. I'll walk back and take a look at everything from a higher time frame perspective. However, right, here was the move. Boom. Let's go. So shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone, had another push down to that 236 retracement level, pulled back, right? Little bit of drawdown in the zone, did not get to that D extension, breakdown, right? So out of the 118 and 127 zone, you had drawdown about 19 pips, right? And boom, TP1, 47 pips, TP2, 65 pips, right? And now we're consolidating there. So we take that at TP2, that's plus 47, 624 pips. 624 pips, right? So far on Tuesday to kick the week off. So beautiful scenario again, 80-20 to the downside, right? Push the TP2 level. Let's bounce back now and take a look at it overall, see where we sit. Where did my levels go there? A daily support level here. Boom. push to the upside. Let's see. Yeah, and we're pulling back there on the daily time frame. So let's see how deep that goes. Should have another fib in here like that. All right, so there's our AB boundary. That didn't pop in on the daily time frame, but AB boundary pullback. Right now we're sitting at a 786 retracement level. Unless we'll see what happens if we get another push to the downside, or if this one turns back over and continues moving long. Coming down to the 4, I'll take that manual one out. On the 4, we also had an 80-20 scenario on this retracement here, right? Going back to the 24th. Right, so strong move to the upside, pushed into the deep retracement zone, and then price turned over in that retracement that we're looking for on the lower time frame. Okay. So coming down to the 1, let's see. 1 hour similar to the 4, right? There was that previous 80-20 move long, and now we're pulling back. So let's see something here. Yeah, so we got a 382 D extension achieved, price turned over. All right, so we'll track that on the 30-minute time frame to see if we get any other developments there. But this was a beautiful move on the 30. Now we wait there. All right, so that's the pound Swissy. Nothing doing but beautiful update. 47 pips to TP1, push to TP2. Any questions on the pound Swissy?
Nope.
Nope. Cool deal. And then dollar CAD. Let's work our way back here. Daily time frame, right? We've been here. 618 retracement, pushing long, pulled back, right? And now we're pushing back to the upside. So we'll continue to monitor to see how this one moves. If the dollar takes over, it continues pushing this thing to the upside, or if the Canadian dollar continues pushing it down. But here we are. Okay. Move to the downside there. Coming down to the 4. Back. Run the fib off the low. Right. And pushing to the upside. And this was a deep pullback here. Okay. That's on the 1. Yep. So we're in the middle of this move here on the 4, right? And we got this deep retracement here. Okay. Just shy of that support level 135,768. So as we come down to the 1, here was our scenario, right? Off of this retracement to the downside here, shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone, takeoff, right? That pushed through TP2. Right, so out of the zone TP1, that is 85 pips. TP2, which we did hit, was 120, right? So if we take just that 85 pips off the TP1 level, that puts us at 709 pips on a Tuesday. If you were able to take all of those scenarios, even if you weren't, you're still in profit on some of them, right? So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. Preparation pays off, right? So that's the overview of the moves from the weekend. Any questions on this dollar CAD? I think so. No questions? Cool deal. And took home 150 pips off that dollar CAD. We dropped you some 7s there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It may be. It may be, right? We'll go take a look at the dollar and see what's happening with the dollar. But you got overextended on the 1, drop down to the 30. It's overextended there as well. on the 15. Here you got an 80-20 scenario active here on the 15. So you could see a retracement come here. Right. So this might be an opportunity for us here. Thanks for calling that out, and boom. There's an opportunity for us on the morning, on the 15 to the downside on this dollar CAD. Making money on the way up and on the way down. 18 pips. 47. All right. All right. Boom. There you have it. There you have it. Let's watch that one and see how it goes. There's your TP2 level there. All right, let me take a screenshot of that. Boom. All right, cool deal. There's a trade for the morning on that dollar CAD to the downside. Let's take a look at the dollar real quick. Boom. So on the DXY, right, we broke out of this consolidation on the daily time frame, strong push down. We're pulling back to retest that zone that we broke out of, right? There's a trend line break and a move down, right? So now we're pulling back, retesting. So let's see what happens here and see if we get continued dollar bearishness. All right, we did push to that 382 on the dollar, but we'll continue to monitor. We got a lot of central bank speakers coming to the microphone this week, so we'll see how that impacts how the dollar moves. But we could potentially be in for more downward pressure, right, off of this pullback. We could see that continue moving to the downside there. All right, so we'll continue to monitor that. The DXY there coming down to the 4. Right, there's the move down. Pull back and you see the support levels here on the 4-hour time frame that we're retesting now, right? So if we get this to turn over, we could see that dollar CAD also make some moves. So so that's the dollar there. Yeah, so there we go. All right, so that's the DXY in this retracement phase there. Okay, Donna, what did you post here? Should buy limit on the UJ on the deep retracement. Let's take a look at the UJ. We'll take a look at the NZD yen as well. Dollar yen. Let's walk back. So we've been trying to get to this D extension, right? Stuck just below this monthly resistance at 151. We pushed back below that 150 level. And now we're hovering at that level, right? We're at 154.06 right now. We'll see if we get another push to the upside to get to that D extension on the daily time frame to finish out this long-term swing off the 618. Over 1,000 pips of that D extension there. So we'll see if we're able to tap that D extension at some point. Coming down to the 4, this is where things are interesting, right? We're in an 80-20 scenario, but we also know the Bank of Japan hasn't changed anything, but the dollar is also retracing. So this is going to be interesting to see if we're able to break below this 148.656 level. we're able to break below that, then we could see this 80-20 continue to play out to the downside, right? Some of you may have taken that out of the weekend or from last week, right? And that was 230 pips to the downside, which is a beautiful play. Retracing right now, we'll see what happens with the yen, but this one's in this retracement phase right now, as the dollar is as well. So if the dollar does continue to retrace, we could see this continue to push to the downside. So that's going to be kind of what I look for from a higher time frame perspective if we're able to break below this 148,656 level. But this is 80-20 on the 4, that there is an opportunity on to the downside. But coming down to the 1, let's see here. I'm going to run the fibs off the low and track them through just to see where it puts us. Okay. Right, so we had this deeper move here, push to the downside, right? Donette ran her fib off of this last leg here. Donette ran a fib off of the low here. Boom, AB boundary, deep retracement, 8-6 level, and it's pushing to the upside. So this is great work here, Donette, right? Off that deep retracement move, 130 pips in profit on the move to the upside there. Let's look at this a little bit deeper. See what else we have happening here. If I can catch a point. No, I won't take that one. Boom. AB boundary push to the upside there. All right, and now we are moving long. So this will be interesting as well. This is an active sub fib here to the upside. We'll probably get to that D extension there as price continues to rise in favor of the dollar. We'll watch that though, right? We can come down to our lower time frames and also track these sub fibs to the upside and see if we do get an 80-20 scenario somewhere. Right, all just been running to the upside. So we'll continue to monitor that there. Right, but beautiful deep retracement move for Donette off the 1 hour time frame on that dollar yen. Okay. Questions on the dollar yen, right? We'll watch and see how the dollar responds and then see if this UJ corresponds similarly. No? Okay. Cool deal. All right, and this New Zealand yen starting to move in our favor. All right, this was another one from the weekend. Shallow retracement 118 and 127 zone, pushed into the zone, got turnover. All right, boom. Up 63 pips so far, a little bit more to go there. All right, our TP1 is at 120 pips to the downside. Okay, so in progress there on the New Zealand yen as well. And we'll see this continue to move to the downside and get us to that TP1 level. All right. Any pairs, Benny, you got any pairs that you got your eyes on actively right now?
There's an Aussie dollar that may be setting up on the 30-minute.
Aussie dollar on the 30. Ooh, couple things. See, this is interesting. Looking off the high.
Yep. And so it's starting to react. That's a 4-hour support that is reacting off of now. I want to see if it'll drop a little lower, but if we get but it may be breaking the inner trend line now. But it's right at, if you look left, right, that's the support. That's a key support level there. It's actually a 4-hour level.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yep.
So continue to watch it. Like I said, I like to see it drop a little bit lower, but it might not though. It might hold there. So
Yeah. Push down into the zone there. I'll follow you.
Yeah.
We'll watch that and see. See if we're able to get that. Boom. We'll watch that. Yeah, definitely look like it's pushing. We'll see if we're able to break above that lower time frame support there. Yeah.
I just missed a EJ on a 5-minute move to the upside. I couldn't get it posted in time, and then I took my eyes off of it, but that one went too.
Euro yen.
Yeah, on a 5-minute chart.
Yeah. I think this is going to. I'm going to go to the higher time from this. I think this is going to continue to track to the upside for a minute. I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let me start this habit. There we go. There we go. No, I didn't feel that. Boom. Here we go.
So it's about to hit TP2. I just couldn't get it up. Couldn't get it uploaded.
Yeesh.
It happened too fast. But yeah.
Beautiful move. Man. Straight up. All right. So even for the scalpers, right? The moves are there. They're there all day long. They're there all day long, right? Pushing TP2, 28 pips. Good work, bro. Good work, man. Team, do you guys have any pairs you got your eyes on that that you want to take a look at? I'm gonna come back, look at this top down real quick. So we broke this daily level here, and I believe this was key. Yeah. I think this break of this level was key, right? I'm watching, been sitting and waiting patiently for these yens to push again to the upside. I got you, Joy. Push into this 118, 127 zone. So I think we might get there. Especially since we broke that level, pulled back and retested that level. Right. I think we'll continue to push long. It might take us time, but I think we'll continue to push long and get into the zone here. So now coming down to the 4, and this has been the interesting part of this, is similar to that UJ, right? Been in this 118, 127 zone for quite some time. But I think we're going to get to that de-extension with the breakout to the upside out of that consolidation, right? So we'll continue to monitor that, but I am looking for price to push somewhere into this zone here. What's that 165 to 170 range? So we'll continue to monitor and see if I get my wishes on this one. But we're pushing long, right? Down to the 1, you had a 618 retracement, move to the upside, right? And now you're playing your ABCD waves long. So we'll continue to watch this UJ, but and be able to trade those smaller waves like Benny was able to here on that move to the upside there. Any questions on that on the UJ? EJ, sorry. Euro yen. Nope. All right, cool deal. Let's take a look at some indices and gold. See what they have for us. Gold is already on the chart. So let's see. Let's see. This is on the 80-20 scenario. Still breaking down. Right. This is that wacky 80-20 scenario that we looked at last week. Benny talked about at the end of the week how super choppy, right? Super choppy, but still in the zone. And here's your breakdown. So we're headed to TP1 at 1951. All right, we'll see how deep that goes. But even though it looks ugly, right, it's still headed to TP1, right? Shallow retracement, didn't get to the 382 level, pushed back into the zone, double top, pulled back again, some sharp movement through all the crazy stuff, right? Still moving in the direction. Still moving in the direction. So headed to TP1 there off the 1 hour. Let's bounce back and see where we are. So deep retracement off the capital fib, stayed inside the AB boundary, which retracement makes sense here, right? We had this long, strong push to the upside, right? And now we're pulling back. So we'll see what this pullback looks like. Could give us a potential crown pattern on the full reversal, right? If we get this type of action. Right, if we get a nice pullback into the zone here, go see something like that for the continuation to the upside off that daily time frame to get to the matching the extension there, right? So we'll watch and see if that plays out, but we're pulling back here, so that makes sense. That strong push to the upside, market takes back some of that move. So we'll watch the retracement here and see how deep that comes. Coming down to the 4. Here we are on the 4, right? There's that crazy sideways push. Right. So excuse me. Right. So we'll see how deep the retracement comes here. Okay. And then back to the 1. That's where we sit. 80-20 scenario. So we'll monitor that deep retracement there. So that's gold, bro. That's for Reese. It's moving in that direction. You might get some retracements within, right? So as you drop down, there's your 30. You're already at a 618 retracement. So if you track your fibs to the downside, you might catch some retracement opportunities, right? This has been a strong move to the downside. Use some additional confirmation, but you might have an 80-20 opportunity here on a retracement. Come back and retest some of those support levels there. So watch that on the 30-minute 80-20 on gold. On gold, right? See if we get a retracement there. Add some additional confirmation just because that thing's been running super hard to the downside. So use some additional confirmation and see if you get that to play out. Back to TP1. Bingo. All right. So there's the 80-20 opportunity here. Same thing. Yep, no doubt. No doubt. Let's watch and see how it goes. 80-20 on gold. Okay. Questions here. Another trade opportunity potentially. No. That's how you got gold too, Joy? Okay, sweet. Sweet. Right. We're in alignment there. Teamwork makes the dream work. Let's see. How much money do you recommend to put on lower time frame trade? I know it depends on your balance, but yeah, that's all going to be based on your account balance, right? And how much of your account you plan to risk. That answer will never change, right? It's always going to be based on your account balance and how much of that account you plan to risk. We always talk about proper risk management, not over leveraging. So you have to do the math on that based on your account size, right? And what your percentage is that you have built into your trade plan to risk per trade, right? And you do the math from there. So I can't give you a recommended dollar amount. You got to do the math on that and figure out what that is based on your account. All right. Cool deal. So that's gold. Let's take a look at S&P. Been running. Let's come back. So we'll start here and then we'll work our way back down. So boom, right? Move to the downside 50%, and we got to push off the daily support level. Right? Got a strong push off the daily support level. Just now we're just shy of this daily resistance level at 44.01, right? And we're starting to stall out a bit. Okay, so we'll see if price turns over and pushes back down or if it continues to rise. Coming down to the 4. Ooh. Let's see. I believe that's where we end up, but I just want to double check. Yep. All right. So this is our move down. And we talked about this last week as well, but it was the move down and we had the news. Whoops, it's right there. Take these out for a second. We're going to come back to this opportunity here on the 4. But shallow retracement, we pushed down, hit the D extension, got to that daily support level at 4104, and then we got the push, right? Strong push to the upside. So when that A boundary is taken out, we flip the fib, boom. Now we have an 80-20 scenario on the 4. Let's watch this and see. We got this daily resistance level at 4401, right? Let's see if we get price to pull back before continuing, right? So we'll watch this, see how the market opens, see if we get pullback here, retracement to the downside, 80-20 on the S&P on the 4. See how they take in that WeWork situation as well and see how the market responds. But boom. Right, that's back to TP1. Okay. So that is 74, 101, 143. All right. So that's the move there on the 4-hour time frame. The S&P. Let's go down to the 1. All right, and got some confluence there on the 1-hour time frame as well. Shallow retracement 118, 127 zone, sideways push. So let's see how the market opens here at 9:30. And see if we get this retracement here. You can play this off the 4 or off the 1, right? Same scenario. Same scenario. D extension is inside that daily resistance level, as opposed to that 4-hour being outside that that resistance level. So, but there it is, right? There are the waves, ABCD waves. Okay, let's go to the 30 and see what we have on the lower time frame. AB boundary there. Let's see. All right, we got that consolidation. Let's see how the market opens. See how the market opens there. Okay. Joy, what are you seeing on the S&P 500? You watching off the 1 or the 4?
I'm looking at both, actually. I actually
Okay.
seen the 80-20 on the 1 first. And I noticed that the candles was getting small and that it was stalling out. And I wasn't sure of the sentiment because of the rally. Like, was this a pullback? Because the monthly, because it's no coinciding with it. But I was just trying to get in the game, despite if the monthly was up and the weekly was down and stuff like that. Just trying to get a feel
Yeah,
for it.
yeah. And but also think about it, right? So this was a strong move to the upside, right? And what happens? Obviously, we know the market moves in waves. So when we have those strong impulsive moves, right, we look for those retracements. So it will make sense at some point, even if we push up and get to that daily resistance level, right? At some point, getting a retracement to come here. So, um, so it makes sense. It makes sense, right? So we'll watch that and see if we get that, right? And if we, depending on how things move, if we push up to this daily level, that'll clear the D extension on the 1, but it'll give us that retest there on the 4, right? And then that sets us up for potential. Tons of potential stuff happening here, right? If we push into this zone here. So let's watch and see. Let's see how the market opens and see if we stay below that 44.01. That'll be the key. That will be the key. So let's see. I'll follow you though. I'll follow you for sure. Talk to us, saying what happened? What happened on your challenge account? Right? Were you calculating your risk? Gotcha. Yeah, gotta be patient and wait for all those rules to come in alignment, man. Gotta wait for the rule, and that's why we talk about. We had this conversation. Had this conversation a couple of weeks ago, just about really honing in on the discipline and the discipline of the swing trading as you move down to. I don't know what just happened there. As you move down to the lower time frames. So making sure that you stick to the rules, and that's why I strongly push, right? Being disciplined, being able to sit in trades, being able to wait on your rules on a 1 hour, on a 4 hour, and really nailing that before moving down to your lower time frames, because you can get into the over trading trend, right? And you're trying to force things to happen opposed to sitting and waiting for it to develop and allowing price to move in your favor. And then just setting a time frame that you're going to trade on if you're going to go down to those lower time frames. Like Reese stays on the 30-minute, right? He's doing some work on the 5-minute now, but he moved down to the 30-minute and he just stayed there, right? And developed the discipline before he made a move down to a lower time frame. So making those small adjustments, right, puts you in a space where you're able to allow your awareness to scale with you, as opposed to going from one extreme to the other. So taking your time and walking those steps back allows you to adjust as a trader as well, right? So you want to make sure that you go back and you look at your notes and you look at the trades that you took, and the trades that you took, to ensure that you're pressing in on the discipline and addressing those areas in which you can grow. So but you got it. Keep working. So that's a mindset shift that if you and this is actually a good point. She said my personal account is more real to me, and I take care of it. And I take care of how I trade on my personal account. Prop firms seem to be tempting to blow the money quick. That's part of the test, right? part of going through the challenge is, can you handle the shifts in mindset that are going to be necessary in order to trade the additional dollar amounts? And that's why they put people on the demo accounts, right? At least initially in most scenarios, so that they can see and you can see how you adjust to the mental part of the game, right? And at the end of the day, you're still spending money on the account, right? And if you spend money on the account, in theory, you should take that just as serious to ensure that you're not just going to the casino, right? Because you can do that just as easy. So the mental part of the game when moving into this prop firm space is really, really, really focusing on the discipline, right? And developing that discipline throughout that process and sticking to the plan, right? Regardless of, because even if you just open up a demo account, right? What's the quote? How you do one thing is how you do everything, right? So if you're not disciplined here, you're not solidifying the skills to be disciplined anywhere else, right? So if you really take a look at all of the accounts, I'm sure you'll see some areas where you can make some, and this is for all of us, not just you, Ann, but this is a good point a good point to talk about. But being able to look at all of those areas to identify, am I truly being disciplined in the space, or or have I just gotten lucky, right? So you really want to press into the discipline in all the areas, right? Not just your personal account, but also the prop firm account. And it's still the same thing, because again, it's about the reinforcement of the action. And if you're not reinforcing those skills and reinforcing that thought process, reinforcing the rules and the trading plan, then you're not going to reinforce them anywhere else either, right? You're going to be up and down and wishy-washy, right? You're going to be inconsistent because you're not consistently doing it in all areas to reinforce what you're attempting to do. So appreciate your transparency there. And for everybody, right? We got to make sure that, and even for me, right? We got to make sure that in every area, we're really, really nailing down our discipline and not slacking in that area, right? And when we identify the times that we step away from it, identify it, address it, and immediately change it, right? Put something in place of that lack of discipline. So it's definitely part of the journey, definitely part of the growth process. But it's a good opportunity to take a step back, identify the areas in which you can grow, and implement something that puts you in back on your path in the direction that you do desire to go. So appreciate that. Appreciate your transparency there, Ann. Greatly do. Any questions on anything that we covered this morning?
I just want to say, part of that discipline, when I don't listen, I don't get a haircut. And when I start looking crazy, then I learned my lesson.
I'm going to pay attention to that, Joy.
Walk around looking like Florida Evans.
So when I see you, I ask you what lesson you're learning. Appreciate you. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
No, sir. Great session.
Appreciate it, man. All right, good people, right? Continue to work on finding that 1%, man. That 1% growth, that 1% opportunity to move you closer to the goals and the desires that you have. We'll be back at it tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, same time tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Peace.